A lot of information is present in unstructured documents. So you could have various kinds of unstructured documents like complex scanned invoices. It could be complex forms where you have handwritten data or printed data which are scanned or they are present in PDFs. They could be CSV files, right? So you can have various varieties of unstructured information. It could be something like tabular information present in a document, right? So this is some clinical trials data which is present in a complex tabular format. So how do you extract information from these unstructured documents? So this has been a challenge, and with the advent of large language models and various kind of multimodal models, a lot of this kind of structured information which is present in this unstructured document extraction has become a little bit easy. But still, you have various formats which needs to be handled. You have various ways in which data can be represented in unstructured documents, right? So this is where a platform like Unstract comes into the picture. Now this is a platform purpose built for LLM-powered unstructured data extraction. It's a no-code platform to eliminate the manual processes involving unstructured data using the power of LLMs or large language models. So using this particular platform, you can handle a wide variety of document formats without manual annotations. For example, you have bank statements from 200 different banks, same form with changes across 50 different states. So they've got you covered with the power of large language models. In this video, let's try out this platform and let's see how it works and how easy it is for you to extract information from unstructured documents using Unstract. They have a free trial for 14 days. So I've created my account and this is how the platform looks like. So the first thing which you need to do over here is that you have to set up your LLMs. So you can click on settings LLMs over here, and by default they provide you with an Azure GPT-4o LLM free trial. But you can also add different profiles of LLMs. So basically you can, they have support for Mistral AI, Vertex AI. So basically the Google models, Anthropic models, right? AWS models, OpenAI models. So let's just set up a quick OpenAI LLM. So let's open this, right? So here what I'm going to do is that I am going to actually set up a GPT-5 Nano model. So let me copy the API key which I've created. Okay, so let me come to Unstract and let me copy the API key. The model name which I want to use over here is GPT-5 Nano. So let the remaining things be same as this thing. So let me test the connection. So it says test connection successful. So let me submit. So I have created an LLM connector over here. Okay. So in this same way, you can set up various vector DB over here. So here you have Postgres free trial vector DB available, but you can add other vector DBs like Quadrant, Pinecone, VV8, Milvus, etc. Postgres as well. Okay. You can also set up an embedding platform. Here you have by default Azure OpenAI free trial embedding. Then you have text extractor. So this is basically the text extractor. What it does is that this is their default text extractor called as LLM Whisperer. So this extracts text from your PDF or other kind of documents, and then the LLM acts on top of it. Okay. So by default, they have this LLM Whisperer, which is their custom text extractor. Okay. And here you have the free trial. I also added an unstructured text extractor. So what are the other options available over here? So you have these following options like Llama Parse, you have LLM Whisperer V2, Unstructured IO Enterprise Edition, Community Edition, and so on. So these are text extractors, right? You can also add other connectors for data sources and destinations. So something like you want to connect to Google Drive, you want to connect to Google Cloud, Dropbox, S3, MiniIO, Azure Cloud Storage, MySQL, MariaDB. So a lot of data connector options are available over here, file systems as well as databases. Okay, so you can do that. I'm not doing it currently. Okay, so in this way, you can first do the settings over here. Now let's create structured data from unstructured documents using the Prompt Studio. Prompt Studio is a purpose-built environment that supercharges your schema definition efforts. You can compare outputs from different LLMs side by side, keep tab on costs while you develop generic prompts that work across wide-ranging document variations. And when you are ready, you can launch extraction APIs with a single click. So what we'll do now is that we'll create a new project over here. Let me give it a name like, medicine safety information extraction. So this is how I'm creating a new Prompt Studio project. Let me save it. This will open up the Prompt Studio. So what I'm going to do over here is that I have this safety information documents for safety data sheet for a couple of medicines over here, like Ozempic, and then I have this for Mounjaro and this for Tylenol. So what I want to do is that from these documents, I want to extract some information like, what is the composition or ingredients of this particular medicines? What are some, toxicological information of this particular medicine? So here you have this unstructured data and I want to extract, this information. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a couple of documents over here. So let me add the documents. So I've added 2 documents over here, the safety data sheet for Ozempic and Mounjaro. Let me close this now, right? So here you can see these documents. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to set up some settings for this particular project in the Prompt Studio. So let's go to settings. So the LLM profiles basically over here is that you have the sample profile, which is the Assume GPT-4o LLM free trial. What I'll do is that I'll also add the other profile, which we have. So let me go to that. That is the GPT-5 Nano. And here I'll keep the vector database as Postgres free trial and embedding also is that. And by default, I'll be using the LLM Whisperer text extractor free trial. So in this way, I'm going to add another LLM profile as well over here. The default one I'll be making use of is your GPT-4o. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is that whether you want summarized extraction. So I'll say that summarize the context. Okay. So I have to select the LLM adapter over here. Let me select this and then say summarize context, and let me save it. Okay. So if you have 2 LLMs over here, you can do something called as LLM challenge. So it's basically if both the LLMs extract the same information, then the output is given. Otherwise, the output is not given. So here, let me put GPT-5 Nano as the challenger. And I'll say enable LLM challenge, save, right? Then you have other things like over here, like grammar, preamble. So this is basically something in the prompt at the beginning of the prompt. Postamble is something at the end of the prompt. Okay. So you can play around with these settings. Then you also have highlighting option whereby, you can highlight in your text. Right, and this is only for LLM profiles that use LLM Whisperer as text extraction service. So let us enable highlighting also and let's save it. So these are some project settings. Okay. So now let me close this. Now what we can do is that let's go and write our first prompt. So let's say add prompt over here. So here if you see you have both these models which are available, GPT-4o and GPT-5 Nano. So let me write my first prompt over here. So I want to extract ingredients of the medicine. So let me name it as medicine safety ingredients. So this is my prompt. Okay. So let me add one more prompt also over here. And I want the output to be not text, but I want the output to be JSON. So let me put it as JSON over here. Right. Now let me add one more prompt over here. And in this case, I will say that extract toxicological information. Here also, I want the output to be JSON. So let me select JSON over here as output, right? So now I have set up my prompts. Now I can run the prompts. Okay, so let me run the prompts. So I can run all prompts for all LLMs and current document. Okay, so the current document which is shown over here is Ozempic. So let me run it. Okay, so if you see over here, both GPT-4o and GPT-5 Nano, as this prompt has been run with these LLMs, it also tells you the cost. How much time did it take for this extraction? And if you look at what GPT-4o has done is that it says that there is 2 things which is like hydroxybenzene phenyl alcohol. Actually, it is the same thing over here, and concentration is this semaglutide. Whereas GPT-5 Nano has done a better job over here. It says it is phenol, and it says semaglutide, right? Actually, it is pulling this chemical name and this ingredient as semaglutide. So you can directly compare over here and see which model is doing a good job for your extraction. Now let us look at the second prompt where I said extract medicine toxicological information. So here, if you look at, if you see over here, this is pulled from this particular section of toxicological information. Let's go to that, section 11 basically. And this is the thing, you have various kinds of, what happens if you have eye contact, what happens if you have, ingestion, right? So you have both these models pulling out like this. Again, if you look at it, GPT-5 GPT-4o is pulling the exact one, but here it is giving it better, like acute health effects, carcinogenicity, reproductive effects, things like that. Okay, so this particular GPT-5 Nano is giving a better result over here. Now, what we can do is that we can export this model as a tool. We can also deploy it as an API. So now let's deploy this prompts as an API for extracting information from our document. So here we'll click as deploy as API. So here it gives the display name of the API, right? And this is the API name. So let's say next. And here now you can again select the configure. You can create the settings over here. So I'll say that I don't want any of these things. I just want enable single pass extraction, right? And I will say create deployment. I don't want a challenger LLM or anything. So let me create the deployment. So now this API has been deployed. So we can view API deployments over here in API deployments. If you go to API deployments, you have the API which has been deployed. Okay, so you can download the Postman collection, load this API in Postman, and we can do testing to see whether it works properly. So I imported the Postman collection for our medicine safety info extraction API. And what I've done is that I've uploaded this particular file. Okay, so this is for Tylenol. I uploaded this particular file and I ran it. So it took close to a little over 1 minute, 10 seconds for me to get the output. And if you see over here, it is, extracting the toxicology information as well over here. So see over here, medicine safety info extraction 2. So here are the details, acute toxicity, all those stuff. It is extracting over here, right? And this is the medicine safety ingredients, which has been extracted as acetaminophen and cellulose, starch. So let's go to this document and verify it quickly. So here you have acetaminophen, cellulose, starch as the ingredients. So that has been extracted over here properly along with the percentages and other things. Okay. So it has also extracted your toxicology information, which was our second prompt. Okay. So it has been able to do this structured information extraction. Okay. Now let's go back to the dashboard over here. So this was the API which was deployed. Now let's go back to Prompt Studio. Let's open our project again. Right. So here, so this was the set of prompts which we actually, we had two prompts, one for extracting ingredients of the medicine and other one prompt for your, toxicological information. Ideally, I should have renamed this over here to toxicological information. I will say just as PI for the moment. Okay. So if you see over here, it is run on the documents and it is showing over here, right? So here in this particular PDF against which it has run, so we can view the raw view. So over here you can see that it is giving some kind of meta information regarding bounding boxes and other things. So you can see how easy it is to actually create prompts over here, compare various LLMs, and then deploy it as an API using this particular Unstract platform, right? Now you can actually export this particular project in Prompt Studio as a tool as well. So all you have to click over here and say it as tool, right? Now, not just this, there are various other things which you can do with this particular platform. You can create workflows, right? Let's go to workflows now. So what I can do is that I can create various workflows. So let me create a new workflow. Let me create a workflow. Now over here, I can do various things like, I can create an API or I can read it from a file system and I can deploy a workflow. So let me select file system over here and I can configure various types of connectors over here for various file systems like Google Drive or any of these things. If I had previously configured it, they would have appeared over here, right? So I can create things like this. So I can do a destination file system also, or it could be a database where you want the outputs to be written, right? So your inputs can come from file, your outputs can be to a database or a file system, right? Again, they support various databases. Here you can select your particular workflow which you have created. So in our case, it is medicine safety info extraction, right? I'll say save changes. Now I can select a deployment type, which is basically deploy as an ETL pipeline. Okay. Now if I were to select API over here, my input is going to come from an API. My source is going to be again an API, right? And I can create a deployment as API over here. Okay. So basically this is for an API deployment. So you can create various such workflows as well over here. Okay. Then what you can do also is that you can create ad hoc task pipelines basically. So basically what you can do is that you can create this particular prompt tool as a task. So I want to extract safety information from many PDF files which are present in a Google Drive, and I want to schedule it as a cron job, which can happen at repeated intervals. So I can create actually a task pipeline and I can put it into a cron schedule. For example, here I can say my workflow as a particular say clinical trials or something, and I can select a workflow over here and I can create a cron schedule. But for this, I need to create a workflow task over here, and that task will come over here and I can do it. Okay. So these are some additional things which you can do over here with this particular platform. Now you also have logs over here. For example, we did some API calls, right? So I can go to API sessions over here and I can click on this execution ID over here. And if I were to look at action over here, it gives me the complete set of steps which happened. So basically I gave this particular file as an input, right? MSD SSD. So it actually says that is the input file, and what and all happened after that. It uses a structure tool, right? Internally, then it is executing for this file. So where it is saying that my LLM is this thing, and rest of the things are false, like enable challenge, enable highlight, and summarize is false. Single pass execution mode is true. It is fetching it, and it says about I'm doing data extraction. Then I'm going to do the data extraction. I'm processing the file. Total cost is this much. Tool executed successfully. So it says that the execution has happened. So you can trace your all the different kinds of sessions like ETL sessions, API sessions, workflow sessions. Okay. So you can create ETL pipelines also over here to convert your unstructured data to structured data. So again, it is very simple. Basically, you have to create a workflow over here, and that workflow will be used in your ETL pipeline. So the workflow is nothing but what is the input data, what is the output data, and what is the tool which I'm going to use, which I've created in the prompt studio to do this data extraction from unstructured documents. So this platform makes it very easy for you to extract information from unstructured documents into a structured format. It is a no-code platform. You can make it's completely driven through UI. So the best part about this particular platform is that this is also released as an open source tool, right, on GitHub. So this is their repository, and this has close to 6K stars over here. So they have explained how you can actually locally deploy this entire platform. Okay, so there is the free version which is available over here, and what is available in the platform is your it's a free trial, and after that they have various plans for you on how you can subscribe to their services. But here you can actually, if you want to try out locally, you can also deploy this platform. So they have it's open source, and they've explained how you can do it over here, and they have very good documentation of the entire platform. So there are various other features like human in the loop. So you have extracted text documents from basically you have extracted structured text from unstructured documents, but you want to verify it. So they also have human in the loop feature. So they have this video. You can check out this intro video on how you can use human in the loop. So basically they have the complete documentation over here on how you can do it. So there are documentation for every step in their particular platform over here on how you can set up the prompt studio, how you can set up projects, how you can do output analysis, how you can do prompt chaining, how you can deploy it as various things like an API, like workflows, API deployments, ETL pipelines. Everything is available over here, so you can check this documentation as well. So in my view, I found this platform to be quite useful for you to do unstructured data extraction, and it is very easy to set up. It provides a wide variety of connections to various LLMs, various database providers. It provides you with wide variety of deployment options. So you can go and check out unstract.com and you can try out and see if this is useful for your document extraction or data extraction or converting unstructured data to structured data. For all these purposes, you can check out this platform. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. See you in another video.